Welcome back, everybody, to another episode with me, CityZilla Plays, in the beautiful city of Zillawood. And this is actually part 2 of our Walt Zilla World kind of special. I was really thinking we would be able to fit it all into one episode, and then after doing Friday's episode, I barely even made it like an hour, hour and a half in, and before I realized that it was just going to take a lot more. And it's a really ambitious project. I'm super excited. Back out and jump over to our lovely amusement park area, and I really like it. We got the amusement park section right here, the nature reserve right there, and then the Zilla Animal Kingdom, and then this huge regular kind of boardwalk hotel district. I think it looks really great. I did end up leaving a lot of this space empty because we wanted to wait and see for upgrades where we were going to place the buildings, and so I didn't really go too heavily into landscaping on the last episode, and that was on purpose. First off, what I wanted to do, just because I thought it would be really cool, so we have the monorail going around, and one of the things I remember from going to Walt Disney World is these little cars, and so I like doing these cable cars. I think it would just look really cool, and it just kind of adds to the vibe, and it's almost like a ride in and of itself. And so we're just going to use the little pedestrian roads because I don't want to put an actual road there. I don't want cars to ever really take this road, and so we are just going to treat it like a path and tell cars to continue on through it, and cars still tend to take it for some weird reason. Whether it's parking, like you can see this guy, I'm not really sure what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to turn around. Yeah, he's trying to turn around. And so maybe that doesn't become a thing. We might have to reconfigure that. So we're going to do one right there. And then we want to do one, we'll say, and I don't want to delete a ton of stuff with this. We'll do one right there. And then we'll come over here, and I want to do one right there. And then we will continue on down here. Maybe we'll do one right here as well. Yeah, I think that would be good. And then I think we're going to end up putting some more hotels on this side. Just because I was kind of thinking, what could we do with this space? And because it is a little farther away, maybe somebody's just coming to the animal park, or maybe they have some friends or family staying, like camping, and they want to stay in a hotel. This would just be a little more convenient for them. And so let's go ahead and put down these lines. And so I am going to make these really tall because, again, we're kind of going for a little bit of a ride aesthetic to where you would kind of go over everything. And you'd fly over the main entrance, and that would just be really cool. I could see the kids being pumped up about it and wanting to take this as a ride, and would just be a really cool experience going over all the parks like this. So we're going to come up here, we're going to go around back, and especially as we expand this animal park, this is just going to be a really cool feature. And so we go over here, we go over here, and then I think, because we don't really, we've got to go over there, you know, we should have cut in sooner. The downside to this is it doesn't allow you to go over buildings. Even if it's really tall, it still makes you demolish the building, which kind of sucks. And so it's kind of going through our little nature reserve area. Oh, look, we got the Ferris wheel and the roller coaster. And it's even going over our main park area, so people would be able to see everything. And this would just be really cool. I'm glad we're doing this. And there we go. And so now that adds access to this side of the park without having to go on the monorail all the way around. And that was really the main reason, besides it being a ride itself. So we have the monorail going all the way around, and then we have the cable car now that cuts onto this main road stops right there, stops right there. So if somebody's on this side and they want to get to here really quickly, they can ideally take the cable car. If somebody's over here and they want to get over there, they can take the cable car. If somebody wants to get over to this section of the zoo, they can take the cable car. And it actually turns out to be pretty popular. Let's see if anybody's taken it. And so it looks like I don't see anybody just yet. Oh yeah, there's one person. So it looks like they're going that way. I don't see anybody else going the opposite direction. So let's back out and come over here to this other station. And so yeah, there's one person just got off. Yeah, I mean there's a couple people taking it. Is it super popular? No, but I think this side definitely. There's a few more people. The cable cars come so fast that it doesn't really leave room for people to queue. You just see people coming in. Yeah, this one's actually pretty popular. So there's quite a few people coming into this one, and that was what I was kind of expecting. Just to get over here, it's definitely the quickest route rather than going through the amusement park. And then what I'm thinking is this one will end up becoming pretty popular as well. I don't know if they'll end up going the opposite direction. But my hope is that it's going to help us kind of boost our attendance to the Animal Kingdom Park a little bit. And so let's come over here, and I want to just paint this real quick. And so we're going to right click and take this off. Just paint in a new area. And the reason I'm doing this is so that we can make it into a tourism area. So we'll come back in here, we'll click tourism, and I think I'm just going to do it on the inside. I really don't want a ton of hotels over here. I just want enough to where it would make sense. And then I think what we'll do is we'll add in one of our zoo side gates over here too. Probably, yeah, I think right next to the cable car. Because we really want to promote people using that. And I think that would be a good way to do that. And I think having this wind around through the trees, that'd be a really nice walk. You know, you're staying at the hotel, you can come into the zoo main gate right here or jump on the cable car, whatever you wanted to do. And then you'd be able to kind of jump in here and go to the moose and reindeer enclosure. Maybe your whole family came out and you got multiple tickets to each park. And so one day you go to the zoo park and the next day you go to the Magic Kingdom Park. And you know, you set up a whole thing with your family. And so let's go ahead and see what we got for the zoo unlocked. I think we unlocked a couple things. So we have the birdhouse, we have the moose and reindeer enclosure, and we have the antelope enclosure. And so that's right here. And so our next one is definitely the bison enclosure. And I think over here would be good. I just want to flip it around so that we can get that path. I think this would be good. Remember, we're keeping space for these. I want to try to give these animals space, like their own areas, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not putting them really close to each other, and that's also the reason why we made this park so large. Because a lot of times Animal Kingdom parks, or big zoos, they just have a ton of space, and it wouldn't be these small enclosures. They would actually have the animals running around this entire area. And so what I want to do is create like another little shopping plaza, put some trees around this, and make it just a nice area if you were in this area. And so I think that's pretty good. And then what we'll do is put in the plaza in the middle, and we'll do a couple little cafes. And I know they're the same buildings, it adds to the aesthetic of the area because there's not more buildings that you can place in here, and I really don't want to go in and get like some assets for this area. I'm trying to stay away from using that stuff. Just because, especially people on console, you don't have the ability to do things like that. And so I want to try to stay as close to unmodded as I can. Though I do play with a decent amount of mods. And there we go. And then what I'll do is I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll probably end up coming through here and creating little pathways through here as well. So people could maybe go to a gazebo, because I think it's a zoo. I think we can place the gazebos in here. Yeah, we can. So I think it'd be really cool to do like some paths where people could go and sit. I think that would be just really nice. Come in here, do some gazebos. Yeah, I think that it would be really nice to come out here and maybe have lunch. Kind of tucked in the trees a little bit. You could hear the animals probably. That would just be really nice to be able to come out, lay back with your family. And I think because of the cable cars here, I really don't want anything right here, but I also don't want to just leave it empty space. So maybe we'll come in here and just put those in. We'll kind of see what comes in. I think it's still the leisure area. No, it's not. Yeah, so now we can get a couple leisure buildings right there. I think that would be good. And then let's see where our nature preserve park is. This one's definitely, I've been trying to look at this to see like what we could do. So amusement park, advertising campaign, so it draws 20% more visitors because we're kind of lacking on the visitor aspect of this. We have 1,071 visitors, but we need 2,500 to get to the next level, and it's just kind of slow progress. And so yeah, it looks like, I mean, we're just not really getting a lot of people. When we first built this, we were definitely getting a ton of people in here, and now for some reason we're not. Maybe it's just all the hotels. People are deciding not to camp here. Maybe it's the noise pollution. I mean, it's really not. It's not that bad, and so I would think in here it would still be pretty quiet. So let's just sit here and see if anybody's even coming in. Yeah, I mean, there's some people right there. Park maintenance. Maybe let's add in a little crosswalk right here. Oh, there you go. Maybe that was it. They just, from the monorail, they couldn't get over. Yeah, because it looks like maybe this side was getting more visitors. Though this is the kind of the nicer side. It has the little overlooks. Though, I mean, this one's blocked by a tree. These ones are a ton of trees. Let's clear these out just so people would have something to kind of look at. I think we just had a pretty big fire over here. Yeah, I think that would be good, because then people could at least use the overlooks to overlook something rather than just having a ton of trees in the way. And things like these are actually really cool. I love overlooks. I think they look really cool. You know, you go to a park like this and you're kind of overlooking the river and you're just having a good time. And it really helps to, at least helps me to kind of put things into perspective. And so let's come over here. Now that we got our amusement park kind of leveled up, let's see where we left off. So we got the little horror house, we got the little boats, we have the bumper cars, and so did we do the bumper cars? Is that what these are? Yeah, I think those are the little bumper cars. Yeah, they are Astro bumpers with the little reeds around it. And so the drop tower ride, what I was thinking is we could put this over here, and it's kind of our first real major thrill ride. And so I think it would be good to do. I want to put it in the middle. I think that would be cool. I want to do like a little X. And then we will come back over here and do one of these guys right there. And there you go. And then let's put something else over here. House of Horrors. Oh, you know what? This pendulum ride would be great if we could fit it in. I think I might have put it in a weird spot over here. Let's see about putting it right there. Yeah, I think that would be good, and then we will kind of decorate this area up. I want to do the same thing with this and do some nice walking paths and stuff. So I think we will jump in there. I want to do some more plazas on this side. And then let's do a couple souvenir shops. And let's come over here and do amusement park restroom. I want to do these little arcade first. There you go. And then we need some restrooms. We'll do one right there. We'll do one right there. I think that's pretty good. I think for this area, that might be pretty good. We got 2 thrill rides. I don't want to pack it in. And so I think that would be pretty good. I want to do those paths like I was saying. Because again, this is, you know, a family amusement park, and so you would want to have areas where maybe you're just kind of sitting and having lunch or something. And it looks like we have a park entrance over here too. And there we go. And then let's go in and put in some gazebos again, because we really like the gazebos. I think they're great, especially for families. You know, you have a whole little gazebo to yourself and just be really nice, especially if you had a big family. And so let's come in here and look at our trees again and see what we got going. I want to do like some bigger trees, but where they also still fit in, but something that looks good. Leafy tree, liquid amber. I don't want to do too much color over here. We did a ton of color in our downtown area, so I would want to try to mix it up a little bit. Generic tree. I mean, I think that looks pretty good. It's clean, and so I think that would be good for this area. And I'm not putting it too heavy because grass, especially in areas like this, looks really nice, and having these big areas is nice to have. And so we do need to do some gates though. And so let's do a little fence, amusement park fence, and luckily all these little entrances have gate connections on them, and so we can actually just go across pretty easily. You know, I think just having it on the roadside would actually be good. I was sitting there thinking as we're trying to finagle it through there, and just thinking it'd be better if we just did on the roadside. That would be pretty good. Now the whole thing's pretty much gated off. I mean, somebody could still jump on from the freeway or something, but I think that would be pretty weird. Looks like we just had a huge fire here, but it's just something you got to deal with, and so kind of wish the grass here looked better. Having this open kind of looks a little, doesn't look that great. I guess we could do some colored trees, something, not a whole lot. Maybe we'll do something small. Yeah, I think that could be good. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe if we do it along the gate, it could look good, because I'm kind of block it in a little bit. Really didn't want to do too much color, but I think this would be good. It'd be kind of like a little sound barrier, and then also kind of hide the amusement park from the outside, which is definitely something you tend to see. We'll see how it looks. We might still come back in here. So I was planning on not using colored trees like this, but I think for this type of amusement park it would fit really well. I'm just worried about this empty space. Just doesn't look that great, but it's okay. So let's come in here and see what we can do to this empty space. Kind of clean it up a little bit, put a couple trees. Yeah, there you go. And then we'll probably put in some foliage. Probably end up putting in foliage in here too. I don't want to do too much, but just enough to kind of clean this area up a little bit. Give it some contrast. Yeah, I mean, that breaks it up a little bit. Kind of makes it look a little more filled in. The grass definitely kind of makes it look like it's just empty, even though it's not. And so we'll come in back into our little menu. Since we did unlock everything, I want to make sure. So we got the drop tower ride, we got the pendulum ride, and then we have the Ferris wheel, which I think the Ferris wheel would look good somewhere in the middle, maybe like right here. I think that could be good. And then we'll probably end up just doing another thrill ride area over here. I think that would be good. And so let's go ahead and put in the Ferris wheel right there. I think that would look fantastic. And then let's put in the roller coaster right here. Yeah, look at that. So now if you're staying in the hotel, you can see the roller coaster from the other side of the park. And that's kind of what I was planning for that little stretch. Kind of wish they had multiple roller coasters. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that looks good. And then we got the Ferris wheel. Let's just go ahead and put some trees around this Ferris wheel. Nothing too crazy. Having a ton of trees around it would probably be dangerous. No, actually, I don't think so. But just give it some contrast, and then we will come in here and fill up some of this area with some trees and foliage. And then I think let's do some rocks in here too. Yeah, I think that would be great. There you go. And then some big rocks. Yeah, that looks great. I didn't even think about rocks. There we go. And we don't want to go too crazy with it. I think that would be good. And then let's go in and put in some trees. What do we want? We want something a little bigger, but kind of blends in. Because of the fires over there, it's I think that looks pretty good. Really like having those rocks in the middle. I didn't even think about rocks, even though we have a ton of these small little pebble rocks everywhere. I think for over here, because this is kind of on a main road, we'll probably end up doing another little shopping center, kind of grand entrance. I think that would look good. And then I want to connect this up. And then I'm thinking if we just go across, that would probably be good. And let's come in here. And I want to do a couple restaurants right off the top. And then we'll do the souvenir shops. And the restrooms. And a couple plazas. And then what kind of rides could we do over here? We're kind of far from the other side, and so we could definitely start doing duplicates of rides. I don't want to go too crazy with it. So we have one piggy train. We have two of the rotating teacups. I think we only have one swinging boat, and so maybe we'll do the swinging boat like right there. And then I know we have one horror ride, two bumper cars. Let's do another drop tower over here. I think that would be cool. because it's kind of far from the other side, and then we got one pendulum right over there. Maybe we'll do another one right here. So the throw reds kind of are far from each other, and so now we would have two drop towers, and so maybe that one's got a huge line and everybody's kind of rushing over to this one. And so now they have multiple options. So I want to come in and do another big rock. Those rocks, they can just look so cool. And there we go, especially with the little foliage around them. I think it just, especially in an area like this, it helps to break up that negative space, like what I was saying. Same with the foliage though. The foliage a lot of times is what causes fires, and so you want to be careful with it. If you do too much foliage, you'll literally just have fires everywhere. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. This whole area is definitely coming together. And so I think we'll cover this. We'll surround this guy with trees. And I want to go, you know what? I think the sugar maple will work. When in doubt, just use the sugar maple. It's just such a clean looking tree. And there we go. And then let's just grab a couple, since we don't have a lot of color in here, we could do, I mean, we do have a lot of color there. We don't have a lot of these ones. I think that would look good. Yeah, that looks great. And then let's just do some small foliage back here. Yeah, there you go, around our little cable. I think that looks pretty good. Let's add in a couple rocks in this one. I don't think that big guy would have fit. I think that's pretty good. Now let's see if we just add a couple small guys. And then maybe some small foliage. Yeah, there you go. I think that looks pretty good for our little cable car area. And then let's just put in some more trees right here. I want to kind of stick with what we got going. What tree was that? It was definitely not the small tree cluster. I think the picker tool has issues with trees. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, if a lot of these trees aren't trees that are actually in the game, then I could see it having some problems. But what's funny is it doesn't have those issues with the roads. Even if a road is a modded road, it still picks up pretty consistently. I don't think I've had issues with picking up roads. I think that looks pretty good, and you can see this park is packed. I wonder if people are still just passing through. Yeah, I think we are looking pretty good. I want to do another big rock over here, just because we can. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll put a couple smaller rocks next to it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Put in a couple trees. Yeah, I think our park is looking pretty snazzy. And so we got some of this guy. Let's see if we can do some more of these little squares in here. These are definitely not the easiest to place, especially accurately, but think it'd be cool to do like some more seating back here, even though it's just aesthetic. It's not easy to get those right. Put on prop and tree anarchy. And there we go. And I want put in a couple little signs. A couple little balloon guys. We've got some tables. I'll put in some of these too. Yeah, I think that would be good. I think that looks pretty good. And then I want to do some bushes around the outside. Just to kind of clean it up, make it a little area. And I really like the standardy little green bushes. Yeah, I think these look good. I think that looks great. And so let's go ahead and put in some trees in here. When I was initially planning this, I was kind of thinking it'd be cool to do like a lake in here or something like that, but I really wanted to do canals, and so because of our river, we really don't have a good enough water source for canals, and so I didn't want to go in and like create artificial water flows, and so I decided to just put it off. And so if we do an amusement park in the next city, we'll definitely do something like that, because I think having little ferries to and from each park would be really cool, and that's definitely something you see at Walt Disney World. And so I feel like it was a missed opportunity, but it's okay. You can't do everything in every episode, you know. And a lot of times, whenever you're building these cities out, you have ideas as you're building, and so it's like, oh man, I could have done this, or oh yeah, that would have been cool. And so it kind of gives you more ideas for next time around, next city, and that's kind of how this whole game works. You end up having really great ideas, and so it just kind of goes into the next city, which isn't bad. Just going to expand this guy, then put in a couple trees. I think that looks great. Looks like it's just going to delete that guy. It's alright, I don't want to wrestle with it. It's not that big of a deal. I think that looks good. We got some more rocks in. We got rocks literally everywhere. In this little area right here, we could definitely do something cool. Maybe we'll do some more of those gazebos. I think that would be nice. We'll kind of plant it right there, and then go in here to our city park. Back to the gazebos, good old gazebo. And look at that, that is great. And then come back into trees, just more trees. Planting so many trees this episode, it is crazy. I like it though. I really like putting the time into trying to figure these things out. It's really challenging. It's definitely one of the things that I find that I've gotten better over the years of playing this game, is coming up with new ideas and kind of seeing what works. And it's kind of the beauty of this game, is there's not really a right or wrong way to do anything. There's just ways that don't work that well, and then there's ways that work a little better. There are a few exceptions to that, mainly traffic. Traffic is definitely one of the things that there's some pretty key tips that will help you. Want to line this up. Oh, there you go. Got some more rocks. Let's see if we can fit one in here too. And let's put some smaller guys over here. Let's see if we can put a gazebo right here. Yeah, like that. That's great. Have lunch up by the rocks. You know what? I think that looks really good. We got all of our buildings placed. We got gazebos in. We got dining. We have pretty much everything. Yeah, I think we'll put a couple more gazebos right here, right next to the entrance. I think that would be good. And then let's see about putting just a few trees here. And I think I'm starting to get a little crazy with these trees, and so I don't know if you can overdo it in an area like this, but definitely don't want to. And so yeah, I think this looks pretty good.